what's anxiety? Okay, so I'm no doctor, I'm no therapist or anything like that. I'm just a person who has experienced anxiety and who also identify as a creative. Anxiety is having this excessive fear and worry or dread about the future. It's this uneasiness that kind of exists in our body. It's the nervousness, it's fear, it's the excessive thoughts that just won't shut up. It's this mind chatter and it just keeps talking. And sometimes it gets really loud. It gets really loud up there. But yeah, so that's what anxiety can look like. How does it show up in the physical realm? It can show up through rapid breathing, where it feels like you can't catch your breath, where your body is so flustered, maybe you're shaking, you can't sleep, you're not eating right. Anxiety can also look like just high lows of stress. Maybe you're having a skin breakout, hair is falling out. So it can show up in different ways within the body. So even though I've done work as an esthetician, which I do love because it's this holistic thing, it's this holistic approach that I like to take when it comes with aesthetics and as it pertains to the work that I do in consulting and all of that, I look at it from a total mind, body, and spirit. Because when you have a skin breakout, it's never just a skin breakout. There's always a root to it. And I'm always asking people, or even my clients, like, what happened? What changed in your life that now you're having this breakout? Like, what's going on? And literally just in that conversation, we're able to pinpoint, well, I changed my job, or my hours at my job changed. I can see in a person's skin if they smoke, or if they drink too much, or if they're just dehydrated because they're not drinking enough water. Like, you can see all of these different things and you figure out, well, this is why your body reacted this way. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what I've been able to observe, and then also just within myself. But yes, that is how anxiety can show up for some people. For me, anxiety shows up through shaking. Sometimes when I'm getting really nervous, my hands might start shaking, or I fidget a lot. It could also look like rapid breathing, where it feels like I just can't catch my breath. Restlessness. I mean, I'm sitting there at night and I want to go to sleep, but I just can't. So anxiety can look like that for a multitude of people, and it may look different for you. So I would love to hear, if you've experienced anxiety, what are some of the symptoms that you've experienced? Again, leave that in the comment because I want to chat with you guys if you're open to it. So is there a correlation between the two, between a creative and having anxiety? And there is. So again, I told you how to do my deep dive of research, and it's amazing to see just over time and in time, the artists such as like Edgar Allan Poe and Vincent Go. I think his name is Vincent Go. Yeah, he's an artist. He's a painter. A lot of the singers and artists that we see in the world experience anxiety. And if you listen to artists within interviews, like even today, like Lady Gaga, they talk about those racing thoughts. Can't shut them down. And if you try to shut them down within people like that, they might not be able to create the beautiful things that they have created. There is a correlation again. A lot of artists, a lot of singers, you can do research and just look at their biographies, and they talk a lot about it. Experiencing, because essentially we're just suffering. We're creating the suffer in our minds about things that's out of our control. I was watching The 5 Heartbeats over the weekend. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, be sure to watch it because it is a cult classic. I don't even know what year that came out, but I was watching that movie over the weekend, and one part of the movie, Robert Townsend, I can't remember his character name in the movie, but in the movie they were accepting an award. And so he says on stage that, he said that the music critic said he will be a great writer when he suffers more. And in the movie, he's like, he didn't know what that meant until that moment when he was accepting that plaque. And so he says that in the movie. If you haven't watched it, I'm going to give you that part. So if you haven't watched the movie, he's accepting this award, and then he says that about what the music critic said. And basically what he was referring to was the fact that his brother was sleeping with his fiance, and of course he was suffering in this moment. So I say that to say, sometimes as creatives, we have to go through life. Life has to happen to us, and there are breakdowns that happen. Sometimes, again, there are bad relationships that we have to separate ourselves from. We lose things, and it doesn't necessarily mean through death or grief. It just means that maybe we lost a friendship, maybe we lost a relationship, maybe we lost a job, and going through that suffering allows us to produce great work. It sometimes allows us to produce great art. So I really like that because it really stuck out to me. Again, you can watch movies over and over, or you can read a book over and over, but wherever you are at in your life, sometimes quotes just hit a little different, and that one hit me, and it made me think about this conversation of anxiety and being a creative. Sometimes, again, that anxiety is racing, it's flooding us, but we go through these periods of suffering because it allows us to produce great work. And it also made me think about Lauryn Hill. I was on Instagram one day, and there was a video that popped up, and she was talking to the audience. And of course, this was years ago, many years ago when she was talking. It was when she had her locks. And so she was saying how her record company kept trying to make her put out another album after she put out The Miseducation, right? And so they kept, trying to tell her to put out another album. And she was saying, like, I have to go through life. Like, life has to happen for me. I got to go through more experiences in order to even create this good work. And I think a lot of times now in the society that we live in, we're not seeing, okay, I don't want to be a judge, but I don't think that we are appreciating the work enough. If you think about being a kid, again, I'm in my 30s, and I remember the excitement I had going to a music store to pick up a CD because we had to wait for it. It was this thirst and this hunger to wait for that CD to drop. And now we can just stream music however, we can stream movies, and I don't think we hold on to it the way we used to 10 to 15 years ago. That's why we look at movies like Friday and Love Jones and movies like The Five Heartbeats as these cult classics, because movies weren't that accessible to us. So anyway, I say all of that. I don't even know why I said all that, but I said all of that because as a person who identifies as a creative, maybe you're in this period where you feel like you're suffering a lot, or maybe the anxiety is really high. But there are ways that you can deal and cope with the anxiety that you're experiencing. Understand that for you, you're just different. You're just different among the crowd. You're not like everybody else. And not to say that everybody can be a creative. Everybody has creativity that exists inside of us. I just think we exercise it differently. I just wanted to point back as to why I was doing this, because I heard that quote in The Five Heartbeats. I thought about Lauryn Hill's speech, and sometimes, again, we just got to go through life, and life has its ups and downs, and it's how do we ride the wave of both the up and riding the wave when it's down.